Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, the home of Alvin York, Dolly Parton, Aretha Franklin, Johnny Cash, all kinds of people, George Jones. Actually, maybe not the home of all those people, but they all lived here, just like me. I'm a transplant. I came from Kentucky, but I'm kind of a Tennessean. And yeah, beautiful hills, but they're getting a less beautiful, I guess, because it's coming on winter. Yeah, in Tennessee, if you're from somewhere else on the planet, which I guess that's all of you, right? Unless you're right here, you are from somewhere else on the planet and live somewhere else on the planet. You know, in Tennessee, it's coming on winter. Although our winters are fairly mild, once you get into December, January, February, it's old, rainy, cold, dreary weather a lot of times. Although there are some nice days. We're having one right now. You know why? Because you're getting to see me, and I'm getting to see you and talk to you. So it's a nice day. Actually, that's not the reason. It's going to be, I think, 60, low 60s today here, degrees. And that's nice for the end of November. So can't complain about that. However, tomorrow, I think it's going to be a high of about 20 or 30 degrees less than today, and the next day, and the next day. So anyway, trying to get some things done this weekend out on the place, and let it be cold, and you know, rainy or whatever this week. I am not going to go out and suffer it. I don't have to, even though I'm an outdoor person, as you know, and I've told you. You see me when I'm outdoors, right? Almost all the time I'm outdoors when you see me. So anyway, I love the outdoors, but I don't love the old rainy, dreary 35-degree weather as much, you know. So anyway, we've been doing several videos, and we try to get into a position where we have a few videos in the bank where if it's 20 degrees, so what, you know? We're at SHOT Show or whatever, we don't have to interrupt our posting schedule, because some of you would cry if you didn't get to see my pretty face at least once a week, right? You would cry. You might even go into depression. It's good to see you all, and I'm glad you came by the place here. I'm out in the woods. Forgot to bring a chair. Forgot to throw one in the mule. I've been riding around the mule a lot lately when I have to haul things. And profound, huh? And but it's okay. I can stand. I stand most of the time. Brought one of my muzzle loaders over. We just recently did a video on Thanksgiving Day with it a couple days ago. And I guess you'll see this before you see that. Probably, yeah. Because we just posted a muzzle loading video of the Hawken rifle. And so that's one reason we like to have videos in the bank. Always have. We do whatever I'm in the mood to do. John's in the mood to do. Whatever firearms we happen to get, people request. And then just kind of look at it. And we may do 2 videos in one day, and 2 the next, and none the next week. It just varies. But we don't want to intentionally, not that it would be a crime. I don't think there's anything illegal about it, posting like 2 muzzle loading videos in a row or anything like that. But hey, it's called marketing 101. I don't know, it just seems to make sense. Like most marketing, you know, just seems to make sense to add variety, you know. You know, AR video maybe one day, the next posting, maybe it's a muzzle loader. Just give people variety. It's one thing that well, I'm guilty of liking all sorts of firearms a great deal, and it's one thing people, I think, come to our channel to see, you know, different firearms, not just all black rifles, not just muzzle loaders or whatever. And I like them all, and I don't want to bore people with the same thing all the time, same type of firearm. The firearms are the stars of the show. You know, it's not John or me, it's the firearm. And so we like to have some variety there, and it just works out because I like variety. I enjoy this firearm as much as any modern firearm I ever pick up, believe me, probably more, really, you get right down to it. So anyway, what have we been doing? Well, like I said, Thanksgiving just occurred, at least in our neck of the woods, and most of you probably celebrate Thanksgiving in this country a little bit, some turkey dressing, hopefully. Some people don't. A lot of people are very unfortunate for whatever reasons, circumstances, choices, the randomness of life, you know, and maybe they're hungry on Thanksgiving, you know, which is a sad thing. We appreciate your all's help in supporting the Second Harvest Food Bank, by the way, along those lines. We donate to it in lots of different ways, and through the guns that we borrow from buds, and then the personal donations, just different things. We sell targets sometimes to contribute. So I don't know, you do what you can. It's just part of life. There is no, here I'm getting off on a tangent, there really is no equality well, there's equality of opportunity, isn't there, for people? Generally speaking, some people are born to where they cannot take advantage of it. But you cringe a little bit when I hear these phrases about, I can't think of one now, but having to do with as if it's just totally unfair for you to have a nice car or to live in a decent apartment or house when someone else can't. You know, income inequality, whatever you want to call it, it implies that you're like some kind of racist or something, or you hate people who are worse off than you or whatever. But you know, there's just always going to be an inequality of, here I go philosophizing right after I get started, but isn't there always going to be an inequality of ambition, yeah, of creativity, of just get up and go ambition, talent, skills, intelligence, inequality of what would I say, fortune, chance, you know, the randomness, you know, of life. You know, I could have just as easily been born in Bangladesh. I guess it may not have been me, but I mean, whatever. If you believe in a soul or whatever, I mean, I just happened to be born into kind of a middle class family in Kentucky, and I've pretty much made whatever I've done on my own, but you know, it's just the way it works out. Other people are born into a really sad situation, abused by parents that have no parents, and all that kind of thing. It's just part of the sadness of life, you know. But it's the reality of life, isn't it? Anyway, I got off on all that on Thanksgiving, and we all have a lot to be thankful for. It's kind of the point where I was going with that. No matter what we have a lot to be thankful for. Most all of us. If you don't believe that, just go walk through a hospital, you know, nursing home or anywhere. Drive around your county, some areas you've not been in, and you probably have something to be thankful for. I know I do. I have lots to be thankful for, and because a lot of my life has been luck, I guess, in a lot of ways. I've made a lot of my good luck, made a lot of my bad luck. But, you know, I'm just a character that, you know, average student in high school, had a chance to go to college on scholarship, and I don't know, if I hadn't done that, maybe I'd have flunked out of college. You wouldn't have had enough, I don't know, you know, I'm just kind of an average guy, but things just sort of worked out for me. I enjoy teaching. That's what I trained to do. Did that most of my career, did other things, and, you know, one day got out a camera to do silly videos, and that's kind of taken off, you know, over the last 10 years. And so we've been able to do this for a living, really, and a career, I guess a second, third, fourth, fifth career, whatever it is. But, you know, it's so random, you know, how things work out. But anyway, we're all thankful. So, hey, how you like my new glasses? Do I look like even more of a dork? Do I? Well, I needed glasses, and so I got them. And they all look alike. You ever gone to well, if you wear glasses, I used to wear contacts when I played basketball in college, but I don't know, it just bothered me always. It just bothered me. I never went to the really soft ones, and I just wear glasses. What the heck? I'm always shooting anyway, so it kind of worked out. And but anyway, I was at the glasses place last week, and I was looking at the glasses, and I thought, well, yep, they all look alike, just like the ones I've got. You know, pretty much. I mean, there's always some bizarre ones, you know, but and the lenses are a little smaller than I like, really, for the last 4 or 5 sets of glasses, pairs. But I saw these on the top row. I said, what are those? Those are kind of like some old school ones I've had that have a bigger lens. They have a little bit bigger lens and a little more protection and everything. And they're not too bad. Look a little more dorky maybe, but that's okay. I'm a dork. And I mean, they're actually, they're actually Oakley, titanium. They're expensive and all that kind of thing, but they still look dorky, right? And they're really light. They weigh nothing. So anyway, I got them, and I really like them. So I don't care whether you like them or not. If you think I look like a dork, that's kind of a compliment, actually, because like I used to tell my students who called me crazy, yeah, thank you, appreciate that. It's my goal to be crazy. But anyway, I got new glasses and I can see better, really. And it's always an issue when an old guy gets glasses because, you know, you're usually into bifocals by the time you're my age, or a lot before my age. And I get messages from you guys all the time about bifocals. How do you see your sights? I can't see my sights. What do I tell my doctor and all that kind of thing, you know? And I tell my optometrist what I need. And I'm nearsighted, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I say, look, you just make sure I'm looking through the top parts of my glasses. It's a gun sight, right out about there. And I don't take a gun in with me. Well, if I do, I don't pull it out. I might have one, but I pull out my pen, and I did this last week, and I said, okay, now I need to, and that's about where the sight is, really on a rifle or a handgun, but it's about the same. And I say, okay, I need to be able to focus on that, looking through that part of my glasses, you know, with either eye and that sort of thing, you know. And she marks all that down, and you know, it usually comes out okay, and these have come out really well. So anyway, I don't care what I look like. I care what things out there look like, how well I can see them. So anyway, let me know if you think I'm extra dorky. But actually, we've done 2 or 3 videos. I think nothing's been posted. This is probably the first time you see my beautiful glasses. What else has been going on? Well, winter weather, man. Well, I went to Tulsa to the gun show and saw a lot of you there, as always, at the Wanamaker gun show. And a friend of mine went, Dave, that I've known since the early 70s. We taught together for 5 years, I guess, back in the 70s, early to mid 70s, and have stayed in touch. We shoot together. Some of the firearms that I borrow locally are from him. The Vaquero, that 357 Ruger bolt gun, and some things like that. And I borrowed another one recently, a Vaquero. You'll see a convertible. We did a video this week with that. It's 357 Magnum. He is a 357 Magnum fan. I mean, almost everything he has is chambered in that. And it's a 9mm. It has a 9mm cylinder with it. So it's kind of interesting. It's a nice little Vaquero. It really, really is. So you'll be seeing that sometime down the road. But anyway, we went to Tulsa. That's where I was going. Forgot. And it's a long drive for us. It's a full day's drive up there, and it's about the same distance back. Yeah, even though you're going downhill most of the way back, it's about the same distance, and we had a great time. You know, it's a I won't say it's a grueling, but you know, you 2 days driving, 2 days in the car, and 1 day walking all day long. Okay, so it's not for the faint of heart. You have to want to do it. You have to be a certified gun nut. Okay, you really do. So I told him he's officially certified. He's not as big a gun nut as I am. He's pretty big, but you know, for him to go along, it's a lot of walking, a lot of riding. So, but I was going anyway, and big show. Need to put it on your bucket list, as I've said before. It's probably the, I don't know if it's the best show in the country. It's the biggest, and it could be easily qualified as the best. There's the antique show in Las Vegas every year. That one, you know, they're similar. This one's bigger. You're not going to find a Glock, you know, or an M&P Shield, you know, I guess, at the antique show in Las Vegas. But they're similar in a lot of ways. You know, the Wanamaker in Tulsa focuses on vintage guns, I'd say. Yeah, mostly vintage guns. But there's also modern guns there too, and everything else. It's pretty cool. We saw Buck Taylor again, if you're familiar with him. He was newly in Gunsmoke, the Gunsmoke series. He was the gunsmith in Gunsmoke. Okay, plus he's been in everything. He's been in so many westerns. He was in Tombstone. My gosh, you know, just a lot of movies. Buck Taylor. And he paints, and he sits up there and sells his paintings. You know, it's kind of neat. And Dave and I have talked to him both times briefly when we've been there. Nice guy. Just if you didn't know that, you know, it's interesting to find out about some of the folks you've watched on TV and some of your favorite series. You know, you like to think they're good guys or gals. You know, especially if they seem to be. you know, in the movies or in the series or whatever it is. Well, he really is. I think a great guy. So anyway, unlike me, you know, I appear maybe to be okay, but when you meet me, I'm just snarly and mean, right? You know, somebody, that reminds me, was it my wife? Somebody was Googling all kinds of stupid stuff about me or on the internet, you know. And what was it? Someone posted years ago, and I'd forgotten about it. John was saying, yeah, that's been up there for about 8 years. Somebody posted having met me. What was it they said? It was some really crazy thing about how I was mad or mean or something. And it was someplace I'd never even been in my life or something. You know, it just dawned on me, though, actually, you know, I get a lot of messages, I've told you, people who look like me, you know, around the country, and they'll ask me, it probably happens once every couple of weeks. Were you in, you know, New York, or were you in Minnesota yesterday at some mall or something? You know, people see someone who looks like me, and it's, again, it's just, you know, it's just someone who's tall, an older guy, probably has a mustache, probably wears glasses, probably has a baseball cap on. So, right, that's me. Yeah. I always tell John, it's like when John, you know, John, when he was a little guy, you know, and getting into basketball and watching Michael Jordan and everything, he was fascinated with Michael Jordan. Well, when he was about 3, 4, 5, whatever it was, anytime he saw a black man who was bald, a picture of one, is that Michael Jordan? You know, so any distinguishing feature that someone has, you know, that may be a little unusual. You know, there's a guy who lives around here, I've told you about that looks like me. People see him. I even rode the same kind of motorcycle I used to have. So anyway, but anyway, you know, when I meet people, I don't ever bite their heads off or anything. I'm always glad to meet you, and I'm sincerely happy to meet, you know, people. I can't, you know, entertain or meet everybody for lunch and that kind of thing, but I always enjoy chatting with people. I was at Walgreens yesterday, and the manager there recognized me, and we chatted up a while. I mean, it's just you guys, you know, make all this possible, you know, and beyond that, you know, I'm just kind of a sociable guy, you know, so, you know, it's just the way it is. But I don't know how I got off on all that. But Buck Taylor, yeah, that's where I got off on all that. Good guy, seems just like he does in the movies that you see him, you know, and that's fun. But great show. Put it on your bucket list. Try to get there. Lots of guns there, and it takes a full day to walk through it. And if you are doing a lot of shopping and trading and back and forth and get sidetracked, well, it's not sidetracked necessarily. It might be why you went. You know, you get into a big trade deal and you see one for this price over here, and on another table, another level, you say, and you're messing around for a couple hours just trying to work out a trade on something. You might not get through it, you know, because you need to keep moving pretty well. I can just about get through it in one day, but it's Saturday and Sunday, so you can easily stay 2 days, right? I'm going to do that one time. I'm going to make it maybe the next trip I go, I might just plan on 3 nights out and then just both days and take more time maybe going through. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so we've been doing a lot of firearms. You know, this is fun to shoot. This is a Mississippi rifle. It's what was I going to tell you? Yeah, well, I was going to tell you I got it in Tulsa. Yeah. And if you're familiar with the Mississippi rifle, the 1841 U.S. percussion rifle, this was used by the military, by the U.S. back in the 1840s and 50s, the Spanish-American War, Civil War, and all that. And I'll tell you about all that in the video. I won't go into all that. But if you're familiar with the Mississippi rifle, Jefferson Davis led a regiment of troops from Mississippi in the Mexican-American War, and they had these. They were rifles, you know, percussion rifles. Kind of a newer thing at the time. You know, the military was carrying smoothbores for the most part, and this is rifled. So for 1841, that's a step up, right? And for an issued rifle, and then percussion, you know, kind of new. So anyway, high tech for the times. High tech, hard to believe, huh? Plus, I've always thought they were just gorgeous with the brass and everything. And I'd been looking at it for a while, as I tell you about in the video, and was trying to decide between a replica or trying to find an original. I've seen a lot of both, but they're kind of hard to find in the condition you want or the price range you want and everything. And I didn't go looking for one of these, but I ran across this one. It's a Eli Whitney made. There were several, contractors for them, and I just couldn't pass it up. I didn't get anything else there at all, and we were ready to leave. And I went back and looked at it again. I said, I just can't leave without that, Dave. And I didn't. And we did the video, and I was so pleased to discover, because you never know. I was going to be happy if it, if I couldn't hit anything with it, because it has this old fixed sight. Let me give you a little closer view of some of it here, maybe. Patch box there, and this is old school. It's 54 caliber. This is before they converted them. They converted a lot of them to 58. After the 1855 Springfield came out, and then for the Civil War, so they could have the same ammunition and everything. As you can see, the barrel, how thick it is. They actually were able to rebore them to 58 from 54 and everything. But so this one's original. It's not been rebored. It's 54, and so I didn't sure how it would shoot, but oh my gosh, it is right on. It is right on. I mean, that little sight and that little brass bead out there almost. I think I was shooting 70 grains of double F powder, and pretty much right on. So it is fun to shoot. The bore's in great shape, and the thing was made in 1850. Can you believe that? Gosh. So anyway, but lately we've been shooting a lot of cool stuff. Imagine that hawk, and you saw the vaquero I talked about. Shot a Colt single action the other day, and shot my toe. You saw that, right? Daniel Defense, AR-15. Had my Border Patrol Remington 870 out recently. Charter Arm stuff. You just never know. Oh, had a 450 Bushmaster. Took a few shots with that. We had a problem. Again, it happens every now and then. The guns just come off the shelf when we borrow one from buds, and the Ruger MPR 556 or AR 556 MPR in 450 Bushmaster. It's relatively new. That I've had that thing for a month. My arm was still broken when I got it, or my hand, and was messing with it off and on, and it did okay the first few shots, and then it started hanging up on us, and figured out how to load the magazine correctly. You're supposed to leave the top round pushed forward just a little bit on the 450 Bushmaster, and on that AR, and then it just was hanging up with all three magazines. It was to the point we couldn't do a video with it. It's that simple. It's just been a Ruger bashing video. We've talked about that. If a gun malfunctions, it malfunctions, on a video. But if it's so bad, you just can't even, do a video with it. Then it just becomes a Ruger bashing video, and we don't do those. Don't do infomercials or bashing videos. So, but we let you know, like I'm doing, and we send it back to Buds, and they'll send it back to Ruger. So we'll try another one at some point, and when we do the next one, we'll let you know more specifics about the trouble we had with the first one. Okay. Well, I wanted to let you know here, just so I don't know. It's a new gun, and it's freshly out. And maybe it's a magazine issue. I don't know, but it was just hanging up on us, and we were getting so frustrated. We can't do anything with this stupid thing. So I'm sure it was an aberration, but we'll try it again. But anyway, we've been shooting a lot of guns, having a lot of fun, and the weather's been pretty good. It's about to change on us, but it has been pretty good. So, what have y'all been doing? No, y'all are so quiet when I have you over here in the woods. Probably a good thing, because we're going to have a 5-hour shooting the breeze, wouldn't we? If we all shot the breeze at the same time. This is not loaded, by the way. But it's pretty neat. We opened this thing up and found there's an old wrench in there from the Civil War. It's a wrench for the nipple, and then there's a spare nipple in there. It looks like it's the original one. And but there was also, and I went ahead and took it out, there was a flash drive in there. There really was. There was a flash drive. So you'll see in the video. But pretty cool rifle. There's nothing like these old vintage rifles, and being able to shoot them. This thing, as I was about to say was made in 1850. And here I'm holding it in my hand, and I'm able to shoot it, and make a video with it, ring the gong, and pop some 2 liters, you know, all those years later. 1850. Wow. I mean, the people working on this, putting this together, 1850, they had no concept, I guess, of a brass cartridge, you know. Did they? 1850. I mean, yeah, whenever I say that, oh, well, but you know, there was the such and such rifle that so-and-so. I can't think of anything that early. I know Smith & Wesson kind of came up with the first cartridges for the 22 in, what, mid-50s. But I think in 1850, it's paper cartridges, if you had any cartridges. You know, so it's just hard to believe. This specific rifle, you know, was being hammered out. That was the technology of the times. Just interesting. So I love these old guns, as you know. So what else you want to talk about? These trees? Well, I got to do my usual media warning right of the week. Oh my gosh, because I watch more news than I should. I really do, as I'm working, and it gets humorous no matter what channel you watch, whether it's Fox or CNN or some of the others. A lot of it's humorous, and we all just sort of pick what is the least undesirable. What's the least of the worst, the best of the worst, don't we? And then we go online. Same thing though, it depends on where you get your news online. You know, I hear people sometimes say, well, I don't watch that crap on TV. I get my news online. Oh, you do? Well, where do you get it? Which website? You know? So it all kind of depends. It's that old confirmation bias thing. We tend to go where we agree, right? That kind of thing. Which reminds me of this commercial I saw. What are they advertising? They're advertising something. Maybe I'll talk with y'all about it. I probably repeat myself. Old guys have a license to do that. But they talk about there's this young person and an old person. Young person says, I get my news from social media or something like that. You know, as you would expect, you about 18 or so. And the older guy, some gray hair, said, I found I was getting my news. I was only getting news from sources I agreed with. I think that's the line he said. And then they're trying to sell something. I don't know what it is. So I'm sure it's something supposed to be objective or whatever. But I found that I was only getting my news from sources I agreed with. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's kind of what we do. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, no, wait a minute. I'm just getting my news from sources I agree with. The problem there is the word news, isn't it? That's the whole problem with all of it, is most of the information that we're all taking in is not really news, is it? It's not just factual stuff that happens. So I mean, they're right in a way, but that's the problem. News has become just opinions and political, you know, hasn't it? So it's all a spin of some sort. So rather than just news, just what happened, the facts, ma'am, the facts, only the facts. So anyway. But anyway, media, you know, young people, old people, whatever, but especially young folks. My gosh, try not to get hooked in to one camp so tightly that you can't see reality or you can't see anything else. You know, it's so enticing to be a part of a group. I mean, we're all that way, aren't we? You name it, whatever it is, political groups, religion, your neighborhood. We like groups. We like to feel like we belong to something. That's just human nature. And of course that extends to, I think, our political slant and our political bent and our, just any group we become a member of, or we tend to support online, social media groups, or just whatever it might be. Political thought, could be a radical group, could be whatever it might be. There's something really rewarding for us in that. There's something really enticing about that, isn't there? And so, you know, we don't want to feel left out, like we don't belong, like, gosh, everybody else seems to have things all figured out. Man, you know, Joe and Martha and Mary Lou, Elvis, they all they think this way or that way, and man, they're kind of cool, you know, and they're kind of my age, or they're whatever they are. They wear the same clothes I do, and they go to the coffee shop and they talk about this stuff and argue about it some, but yeah, they're really they're cool, and they think this way. Man, I must just be stupid because I don't necessarily see it that way or all the time. I don't know, you know what I'm getting at. Just think for yourself. Was it Emerson said the strongest man is the man who stands most alone? That sounds a little depressing, of course, and it's not just men, but it's just generic for people. But you know, what he was trying to get at was about nonconformity. I think about nonconformity and how we. And he also said, whoso must be a man, or whoso is a man must be a nonconformist. Well, he not necessarily was promoting radicalism and that sort of thing, but when we totally conform, we give up our own identity, don't we? Our own individuality, our ability to think about things, you know, for ourselves, you know. So from that standpoint, we do need to be nonconformists, not just society in general, but non-conforming to whatever our peers are trying to convince us of necessarily, right? So I think there's a lot of people who are pontificating again, but they think they're being radical because they don't agree with the establishment or whatever. It's like back in the 60s or any time. But yet they're conforming to what their buddies in their class, you know, want. So they're like a robot with them, but because they don't want to be a robot, in relation to the bigger picture, I guess. So the point is, don't be a robot with anybody. Think for yourself, you know, and just do what you can to figure things out, do your research, and try not to be influenced overly by non-thinking people. Yeah, non-thinking people. Then on the other side of it, you have to be careful, don't you? Because there are people who have a contrarian point of view on everything, just to be different. Just to be different, because they don't want to feel like they're that robot I was talking about, right? And whatever it is, whether it's with fire, and we see it with everything. You know, some of the Glock hate comes from that. Okay. Hate to bring up Glocks. There are a lot of great guns, but you know what I'm saying, because so many people do like Glocks that a lot of people go the other way just because of that, which is fine, you know. But it's the same with everything, politics, you name it. Just to be different, it makes us feel smart. So that's the other side of it. As I'm saying, I feel so much smarter. I can get a lot of self-esteem out of that, can't I? If I think differently, I go a different route than everybody else. All those people are just idiots, you know. I know the truth, you know. So that's why it's a jungle out there. Young people, old people, young people especially. Try to figure things out for yourself. Do some reading. Study history. It's one reason for the freaking Constitution. You know, when you're in doubt about things, the founding fathers, as imperfect as they were, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all that stuff makes a lot of sense. And, refer to that, you know, really. Anyway, you got to have something to build your philosophy on. And that's a pretty good start, I think. You know, it's worked for the most part. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people wanting to tear it down, wanting to interpret everything differently, just based on the times. But, you know, it's a good place to start. So anyway, enough pontificating on that. I mainly want to just check in with you and make sure you're behaving yourselves and that you're shooting enough. Some of you I worry about, because I'm afraid you do not get to a shooting range often enough. Okay? I'm just afraid that happens. So you need to work on that. Even if you just take 10 shots, go with a buddy, go with a friend, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and just shoot for 30 minutes or an hour. You know, take a few shots. It's good for you. It's good relaxation. It's good. I don't want to say therapy too much, because Anything you do recreationally that you enjoy is kind of a therapy, but I might have mentioned this once. I saw a comment someone said years ago on a video, said, I'll bet after teaching all day, shooting is really fun. You get to come home and blow off steam, something like that. And I answered him, I said, well, actually, I enjoy teaching, and I don't ever shoot. I hope I'm never going to the range or getting out a firearm and shooting to blow off steam. I believe that was the exact phrase he used. You know, that's a little scary to me. Where's my gun? Where's my gun? I'm so frustrated. I hate my job. I hate my boss. Let me go ahead and shoot some. I don't think that sounds good. And plus, it's not accurate for most people, is it? It's excuse me. It's not why we shoot. It's just fun. You know, I mean, you go on a motorcycle ride to blow off steam? I don't think so. Or go golfing or whatever it is you do. So I might get choked up and not be able to continue. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Well, I was going to wrap it up anyway here in a little bit. Just want to check in and say hi to everybody. If while it's warm, come out in the woods, talk to you, check in. I think it's been, I don't know, weeks, maybe a month since I did a Shooting the Breeze. I like to do one a month. I should do them more often, I know, and keep them shorter. But I appreciate you all coming by and hanging out with me a little bit. And I didn't provide you any brilliant information about the shooting endeavors, I guess, that would help you today. I sometimes like to do that, need to do more of that. And choosing guns and that sort of thing. I still get all those same questions about what's the best gun, what should I get, which this or that, you know, and I don't know. It's like, what car should I get? What girlfriend should I date? You know, I don't know. You know, I can just show you the firearms that are out there, a lot of them, and what I think about them. You need to go rent them and try them out yourself and decide how you're going to use it, how you're going to carry it, if you're going to carry it, what you're going to do with it. Does recoil bother you? You know, just some of the basics though. Just get a good mid-sized gun. You can't go wrong. And don't worry about what caliber, anything 389, 40, 45, they're all good. You know, don't obsess over all that too much. Don't let everybody on the internet, which is me too, right, get you all confused about some caliber being worthless or some gun being worthless, unless it really is. Okay, there aren't many firearms that are totally worthless. We make fun of a few of them that are big and clunky and unnecessary maybe, but you know, most of them work or they wouldn't be on the shelves. Some are a little more reliable than others, that's true. But just do your research, go to gun shows, go to gun shops. I mean, it's hard to make that decision sitting in your living room watching us on the computer or TV or whatever. It is tough, or just shopping online. You do need to get out there physically and try to shoot some firearms, handle them, shoot them, you know, get to a range with some friends and that sort of thing. And just know that whatever you buy, you'll want something else too later, or you'll want to trade that for something else later. That's just going to happen either way probably. So, but anyway, it's a jungle out there. The main thing is get something and enjoy shooting, you know, and then try to be extremely responsible. You young folks, old folks, everybody, especially young people. People are watching you. They find out you're into firearms. It's always been that way, not just recently. They know you're into firearms. You're a little more under scrutiny. You know, is that guy a hothead? Is he someone who could be dangerous? You know, just be aware of that. You know, it's kind of like if you've got a big, scary-looking dog with you or something. You know, people, okay, how's that dog? Is that dog all right? You know, it's kind of natural in a way for people who are not as familiar with firearms. You do not want to appear dangerous, right? Unstable, unhinged. Okay, you young people I'm mainly talking about, because you know, when you're, especially guys, and when you're young, you say crazy things. We do crazy things sometimes. It's a miracle any of us get past the age of 16 or 18. Us guys, myself included. We all did stupid things. Some of you are young right now, and you're in the process of doing those stupid things. So just be aware of that, how you represent yourself, responsibility-wise and everything, particularly if you're into firearms. Maybe you're a little bit goofy and reckless in some ways. Well, if you get into firearms, That's not a place to be reckless or goofy, not safe, and it could very well present a negative, impression, a scary impression I'm getting at, right? Okay, so just be aware of that. It ups the ante. Firearms are great, I think, for young people because responsible young people, it makes them even more responsible, because it's kind of like the old days when the young people thought I was going to end, didn't you? When people had, now I know I sound like an old man now, but when you're 13 or you're 10 and you had the responsibility of maybe feeding the cattle every morning, milking the cows or whatever it was, there's a lot of work to do on the farm, and you just grew up a little more responsible than maybe some young people today, including myself, even though I had to do some of that when I was young. But most people today, all they do is get out of bed, maybe go to school. They don't, when you're 12, 13, 15, you don't have all these other, you don't have any serious responsibilities where like the cow might die, or the cow has to be milked, or the crop has to be gotten in, or we don't eat, this winter, that sort of thing. So, so I think young people just were naturally more responsible because they just grew up that way. Well, a firearm is similar to that in a way, because you have no choice but to be responsible with it, because they represent something that could be dangerous. There's potential danger. There's no question about that. All of us Second Amendment supporters will admit that. Firearms are dangerous. By gosh, they'd better be, or they'd mean nothing. There'd be no Second Amendment if they weren't dangerous, right? We want them to be, they better be dangerous. But because of that, you have to really watch what you're doing. You have to be careful. You have to be diligent and vigilant at all times when you have one of these, okay? So, it's just naturally, if you're 12 years old, you're at the range with your folks, or you're 16 or 18, whatever you are, maybe you're slightly irresponsible in other aspects of your life, but when you're at the range or you have a firearm in your hand, there's potential for death there, serious bodily harm, if you're not focused. You're not focused. Maybe you're just taking it out of the box and you forgot it was loaded. Okay? I mean, it just demands attention. And in a way, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's been my experience, young people who are shooters that I have known and met, they tend to be responsible young people. They just do. It kind of flows over into other aspects of their lives, I think. I think it's a good thing. Now, we all know there's idiots that shouldn't have firearms, and there's criminal types and all that, but that's not us. That's not us. That's a very, very small percentage, They dominate the news, but that's a very small percentage of gun owners, of course. Almost so small you can't see it. I mean, so many zeros. Now, it's front page, of course, but it's very small when you consider how many gun owners there are. All right? Like, what is the number supposed to be? Over 100 million. And the number of guns between, 350 million, 400 million. The numbers vary, but we're awash in firearms in the United States, which is a good thing. I don't say that from a negative standpoint. And it's just like knives. So talking about banning guns or how to get access to that gun, it's like saying how to get access to a butter knife. Duh, the guns are there, okay? Whenever there's a shooting or something in the news, and they start, the news media starts worrying about and talking about, asking the detectives about, do we know where he got the gun yet? Do we know if he obtained the gun legally yet? And all these kinds of, it's goofy. I mean, they're almost goofy questions. That's stuff you got to answer. The ATF wants to figure out. They trace back guns where they were, and they got it. Just makes, I don't know what they're making sure of, but it really almost doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter. Now, it kind of does, but it almost doesn't matter. It's like if someone stabs somebody. It's like going way out of the way to find out where he bought that knife, who sold that knife to him or something, I mean, guns are almost as easy to get a hold of as a knife. Now, if you're an anti-gunner, you're thinking, yeah, that's a problem. Well, whatever you think it is, I don't think it's a problem. But I mean, the facts are facts. There are so many firearms. If somebody wants a firearm, they can get a firearm. So So whether they filled out paperwork and got it legally or when they bought it and all that, that's almost irrelevant. Okay, when a crime is committed, it's almost irrelevant. What do you think that, like, it wasn't that crime? He wasn't going to murder somebody if he had not gotten that firearm the way he got it. Is that why he murdered somebody? You think there was a chance he could not have gotten a firearm? Apparently he wanted to kill somebody. You think he couldn't have gotten a firearm? You know, so anyway, back up on my soapbox, right? And I was going to let you go. I was going to let you go. It's my attention deficit. It kicks in. It really does. But anyway, I was about to wrap up before I got on another soapbox and about gun control and all that kind of stuff. Firearms are a lot of fun, and all sorts of them are a lot of fun. Another piece of advice for you young people. I keep hammering you young people today, don't I? But if you cannot appreciate something like this yet, work on it. Get your brain straight. Okay, study some history. Get out and shoot one of these, something like this. They're just so much fun. They really are. You know, I mean, I love an AR and, you know, plastic pistols and all that. And I like them a lot. I've shot them a lot. 1911s, you name it. But I like these kinds of things just as much. They're just as much fun. People generally who do not enjoy them, I think quite often they don't know as much about them or as much about history. They don't know where they fit. If you see this gun lying on a table, for example, at a gun show, and you have no clue what it is, you know, or a Hawken rifle, you don't even know it's a Hawken, whatever, or an 1861, you know, Springfield, you know, rifle musket that was used in the Civil War, probably the most commonly used long arm in the Civil War, that in the infield. If when you roll your eyes across those, they don't mean anything to you. Well, of course they're not going to be as interesting. But think about what I just said. I mean, those were the firearms used, and this one too, you know, by soldiers in the Civil War, the American Civil War. They ran around these hills, literally where I stand, you know, shooting at each other, you know, with these, and they're still out there. I don't know. That's just, to me, that's kind of interesting, and it brings them to life, you know. So a lot of it, I think, is just not knowing history, because I know I was not as interested in certain firearms when I was 20, 25 that I am now. So don't just rule them out, any aspect of firearms. Same for you old guys. Think there's nothing but a revolver in the world, or a 1911. Don't rule out a Glock or an M&P Shield or an AR-15 just because you haven't fired one. Those are fun, and they're really cool. As I always say, that AR-15 is, it in a lot of ways is the teeth of the Second Amendment, you know, whether you like them or not. So try those. So lots of good advice for other people today, huh? None for myself. Let's see, what advice do I need? How about get a brain? How about don't ramble so much? Don't talk so much? Now, I can only be me, I'm sorry. But I appreciate you all, I really do. We're enjoying what we're doing still. And like, why would I not enjoy shooting? And, you know, whether Google does or not, it's funny. My phone, it's probably gone off just since I've been here. Oh, I should check the time. I've probably gone too long as usual. But I'll look at my, let me show you. Well, I won't show you, but I continually get the mail. Come on, come on. My fingerprint wasn't working. Okay. All right. Gmail. Let's see, of the last emails, the last 3 emails I've gotten, 4 actually, 4, are YouTube notifying me that, see, here's one. After manually reviewing 2 of your videos, we confirmed they aren't suitable for advertisers. As a result, they will continue to run limited or no ads. I'm getting this every day. These 2 videos happen to be the Henry 4570 lever action rifle. Now there's a seriously dangerous, right? Daniel Defense SOCOM. Let's see, what was this one for? Oh, that's one I just opened. Okay. Here's one came today. Glock 30S. Wow, that's probably been 3 years since we did that. They discovered now that's not suitable for ads. Here's the most recent. Mail order, sawed-off shotgun, muzzle loader. No, yeah, it's that muzzle loader shotgun. Let's see what are some other good ones here. This one came on November 20th. Smith & Wesson 629 44 Magnum. Okay, yeah, dangerous. What's this one? K31 Swiss rifle. Oh, not suitable for ads. Okay, if you say so, YouTube. Oh, here's one that had a bunch. Here's the Springfield Xd Mod 2 Subcompact. The Magnum Research BFR 4570. Winchester lever guns video. That's the one we went through the history of all the Winchester lever guns. They're just now getting around to that. That was 5 years ago probably, or longer. And it has been deemed unsuitable for ads. It's funny. This video will be hit too probably. Everything is. The pumpkin carving, the 9 yards. So anyway, that's okay. We got support outside there, you know. As long as we keep our support, we're okay. We can keep doing what we want to do. But it is frustrating that the world is like that, isn't it? But anyway, there was something else about that I was going to say, and I know it had to be terribly important. What was it? Well, I guess not. I guess I was just going to remind you of the Gone Club, the Patreon account. Again, what we post over there different are we give sneak previews to videos, and we do some behind the scenes stuff over there. We're not doing a lot of, you know, sexy gun videos that you're not seeing if you're not a patron, that kind of thing. And it's just like a buck. We don't have some sophisticated system over there. It's real easy to be a Gone Club member, and so we're just doing a few things over there and supporting our Gone Club range, you know, with that. Also, if you're interested in t-shirts, you know, we're working with Matt from Demolition Ranch and bunkerbranding.com, and the links in the description and at our website. So if you want a t-shirt, we're going to be adding hats back and some other things there. I think we're going to do a Christmas t-shirt, possibly some kind here. You know, we did the pumpkin carving shirt, but anyway, you know, pop over there. And what else? Just keep track of us, and we'll keep track of you. You know, we're watching you. We know where you are. We know what you're doing. I caught a lot of you the other day watching you eat pizza, getting on your keyboard, and you confessed, yep, that was me. So we just watching you through that camera on your keyboard, right? Yep, I see you. I see you. Bill, wow, get some clothes on. Anyway, it's been good to see you all, and I'm not totally insane just because I come over in the woods and talk to a camera. I know you're out there, and some of you actually watch these, and that's who I'm talking to. And that's all anybody does. You figure out who your audience is, whatever it is you're doing on this planet, media-wise, whether you're a band, you're a comedian, you do videos. Everybody has their own audience, people that appreciate what they do, right? And that's our main concern, is doing what we think that you all want to see primarily, because well, it's actually what we enjoy doing first and foremost, I have to admit. But we started out doing what we like to do, the way we like to do it, and it turns out that a lot of you are okay with that, and you like that too. So that works out beautifully. You know, it works out beautifully. We're not doing something that we don't enjoy or we don't care to do just to satisfy viewers. So I guess there maybe people do that and maybe get rich doing it. I don't know, but we're just doing what we like to do, and because we're hardcore shooters, we just enjoy firearms, and it turns out there's a lot of you out there like that. And we, not to be negative, but we don't really care what other people say or do. It makes no difference, you know, because we know we're doing what we enjoy doing, and we have our own audience who enjoy what we do, at least enough to watch the videos, and so that's our main concern, you know, really. And you know, there's always going to be detractors and haters and that sort of thing, but we're just doing what we think, what we know we like, and what we think you all, our viewers, like. So, boy, have I rambled. Smack my mouth. Smack my mouth. You think maybe it is when I get a firearm in my hands that I really like? You think maybe that's what does it? That might be it. I need to quit holding a firearm when I do a shooting the breeze, because I think it sends adrenaline into my brain or something, and I just can't shut up. Or maybe just quit looking at it. Okay, all that pretty brass and walnut. I need to shut up and go shoot it before I clean it. Give it a really good cleaning, because it's again, it's about 60 degrees now, and that ain't gonna last long. In fact, it's over with tonight, and so I'm gonna maybe shoot a couple more times and then clean it really well. Appreciate you all watching, and all the things you do for us, and it's always good to see you when I'm out. I still get messages quite often. Hey, I saw you somewhere. They want to bother you. It's no bother. Say hi. Say hi. You guys gave me this job. You forced me to do it. So I just have to do it. Life is good. Oh, nope, not yet. Life is good. It's good, and it's still good.